Hello and welcome to another Dragonstorm Studios video. And today we're going to be drawing islands and castles in the sky. We're going to be doing that in the background of a drawing that I did of Tom Holland as Jace Beleren. So we're currently in terms of magic lore in a plane called Zendikar, in a set called Zendikar Rising. And in that set you've got these wonderful floating islands all over the place. And I decided to draw Jace there because I've got a lot of fond memories of Battle for Zendikar, which is when I kind of was getting into Magic when I first started, very casually. Didn't quite get or like the colorless Eldrazi, but I was still too new to the lore at that point. So this is the picture I used of Tom Holland, and I decided to choose this one because he was being very serious looking in this one, and Jace has always been, to me anyways, a very serious character. And the drawing itself looks like this. Now, I think because I'm so used to seeing Tom Holland as Spider-Man from the MCU, I'm a little bit unsure about this picture. I think it's fairly accurate. I think it's turned out well, but because I'm so used to him being a little more on the happy-go-lucky side, and a little bit of that innocent teenager sort of character, even though he's not a teenager, it looks a bit weird to me. But you know what? We're gonna go with it because I've tweaked it. I've tweaked it several times, and it hasn't gotten better from here. So I'm gonna be an artist who says sometimes you gotta kind of just let it go and be finished with it. So here's the picture I'm going with. And I wanted to talk today about those floating islands that you see there on the left. So we're gonna draw them over here on the right. To create a little bit of symmetry, but also to fill that space in the top right-hand corner nicely there. So I usually start, when it comes to these floating islands, with kind of like a basic shape. And I tend to make the lower, well, I guess 3/4 of the floating island the bottom part. And then I kind of usually have the top part only really encompassing the top, maybe quarter maximum of the space available. And I do that because it kind of gives it more of a sense of mystery. The fact that you've got so much here at the bottom, so much which is dangling, it kind of just looks a little more, I don't know, a little more otherworldly, more epic looking. Same kind of philosophy as you have with like icebergs. Icebergs are, don't look that big on the surface, but they go down pretty deep, and as a result, they are dangerous because they don't appear as big as they are. And I've got the light coming from the top right in this particular scene here. Now, I'm also being aware of the fact that my camera likes to show up to about here, but then the video itself ends up not being quite so tall. So I may have to adjust my camera a little bit at some point. But I start by just being aware of that light and dark. So I kind of just block in where I want it to be darker and where I want it to be lighter. And I have, some trees, some evergreens I could do over here sticking up. And for evergreens, I kind of, especially in the distance, I kind of put a line going up straight and then just go back and forth, almost like a seesaw, creating that thicker, wider bottom to the evergreen tree there. Really quick and easy way of drawing evergreens in a distance. Just that back and forth motion, because they do kind of curve upwards a little bit as they go. And then filling in. A lot of great art has to do with just light and dark. And you can experiment with that as much as you need to. But the general rule I find is that the darker you go in some areas, the lighter the light areas appear. So you've got that contrast being created, which is just wonderful. You might have some root systems or other bits kind of sticking out along. And then you can show where the wind is by having some of those wispy bits kind of trail off here and there. I reminded of Avatar from, I think it was 2009 or 2008, a long time ago now, and those floating islands were just so cool, I thought. I loved it. It was wonderful. But you can already kind of see that coming together nicely there. Whenever you get a rocky surface, you tend to also get clumps of rock, clumps in areas where the rock has kind of fractured and divided, and you've got some cliffs and clefts here and there. So you might want to just kind of break up your island, especially the base, into smaller kind of chunks. And although they don't really have a uniform shape, I kind of end up making them almost like half diamonds. So you've got this skinnier part and the wider part as well. And some areas overlap. I'm using this paper here to protect my drawing. I don't want to get all my fingerprints and graphite all over it there. But again, just kind of being aware of where the light is and where the blocky bits of the ground and rock are to create those wonderful dark and light areas. You can already kind of see it turning out like the example there on the left. Now, the big trick I always find when it comes to drawing objects in the sky is to create a sense of depth and weight to them, and that's done by shadows. So here I've got a shadow being cast on a mountain below to give it that depth. But here, there's nothing below except the cloud, but we actually can have shadows on the clouds themselves, just to actually show that depth and weight. So I'm just gonna go over the top part of the cloud and darken it there. And you might think to yourself that's ruining the cloud, but what it's actually doing is giving it more of a sense of weight and depth. And you do get objects casting shadows on clouds all the time. We don't often see them from the ground, but if you're ever in an airplane looking down, you actually see the airplane's shadow on the clouds, which is really weird at first, but kind of cool too. So we can draw that in there nice and solid, even though we don't think of clouds as being solid there. All right, so I'm gonna keep working on that a little bit. I'm kind of liking these shorter videos. They're significantly less than 10 minutes long, so I'm gonna stop there. But I'll show you how the end result turned out right here. And I hope you enjoyed that short video where I showed that little technique. And again, lots of light and dark. So like the video if you enjoyed it. Share it if you think other people would enjoy watching it. And if you feel that the video has earned it, please subscribe to the channel. Love the extra support. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.